Yes, and welcome back, you guys, to another Shield breakdown. Today we will be breaking down season two. I'm your guy, Stefen Payne, along with, I mean,
With me, Alex. Thank you.
yes. And today we're going to be discussing, we're going to be breaking down season two. I want to start it off with a quote. Actually, it was a quote that you had referenced earlier about. It's pretty much, it says, if you want to keep a secret, you must also hide it from yourself. You must know all the while that it is there, that it is here. But until it is needed, you must never let it emerge into your consciousness in any shape that can be given a name. And I think you had paraphrased it even better than that, man. I was telling you earlier.
No, that's a good that's a good paraphrase, and that's not the exact quote because, but I mean, I thought it was a good quote because because both of us agreed we should never forget about how Vic murders Terry because it does get forgotten very early on, and this obviously what underpins his character the whole way through.
Well, I think, I jotted. So what you had said, that the paraphrase that was pretty much what that meant was to truly convince people of a lie, you must first have to convince yourself. Let
I
me
think
say it
yeah,
more.
that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, to truly convince people of a lie, you first have to convince yourself, and that's what
Yeah.
that was you paraphrasing. So I thought that was brilliant. Because as this goes along, you guys are gonna see I'm anti-Vic, man. It's at this point,
Mm,
many of you guys may disagree, but we've discussed
yeah.
this, Alex, about.
It,
Mhm,
and one of the things because I know, I mean, it was my suggestion because when I remember when you had the TV screen on the last time we done it, and I said that's a nice touch because on the
mhm.
TV screen last time we done this, there was Vic and Shane in the lockup at the beginning of season two, and I remember Shane's like Shane's been one of the aspects of him struggling to keep control. He's keeping watch while Vic's, obviously at the end of season one, Corinne's run out on him. He doesn't know where she is. He lost control of her. He doesn't know where his kids are. And
Yeah,
Shane's keeping an eye on things, running things in his absence. And Shane when he returns to find out what's happened, Shane kind of gives him this update of, oh, I've been tripling business for you. Everything's going great. And he's like, you kind of see this look in his eyes, like Shane's expecting this reward, this pat on the head from Vic, and he gets totally shot down by him. He's like, yeah, you're an idiot. What's the matter with you? And
yeah,
and
yeah.
it's
Hmm. He gets shunned. He kind of gets shunned a little bit, not
yeah,
shunned, but
mm, because he's
yeah.
always wanting like that he's always wanting that reward, that little pat on the head, and that from Vic.
Yeah, definitely. And I think what's interesting though about the whole season two is, it's pretty much just watching Vic trying to, regain control of, pretty much his life, of everything, like of Shane, of, his oh man, Corinne left with the kids and stuff. And like I was mentioning, you know, um the reason why it took me pretty much 7 seasons to realize that Vic was this anti-hero, not the good guy, as good as we perceived him to be, um, um, because we forgot about Terry. You're bringing that up.
Mm,
We forget about Terry, and season two is a prime example. At the end of season one, we see, him breaking down. He comes home, his wife is gone and stuff, the kids are gone. And in season two, we see it unravel a little bit more. Like you said, how he's treating Shane. You pretty much see him falling apart and trying to pick up those pieces.
mm.
Yeah. So
Eh,
it's mhm.
no, I was just saying, and in season two, it gets, things do get, he kind of gets worse because when Armadillo comes in, I mean, in the first episode, you have Aceveda puts him on notice basically to say, they agree this uh, awkward alliance
Awkward
to
friend, yeah,
cooperate.
friendship, yeah. Uh-huh.
yeah. Well, I don't know if friendship's the best description, but soon
Yeah,
after, then
yeah, yeah. I wouldn't
soon
use
after,
friendship
then
either.
well, soon after, then Armadillo comes in, which is obviously another thing to go in Shane's portfolio of mishaps, where Shane invests all that money from the retirement fund in all this poison coke that's in the schools, it's on the street, and everyone's dropping dead. You know, you know.
I think he said. I think he said something like Shane said, I have investments," and Vic said, "What? You mean that poisonous shit that had homeboy foaming at the mouth or whatever? Like, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
that's what you have our money invested in." Um, but yeah. It's and like like we were talking about earlier, man. It kind of we see he becomes more human. So I think that's key right there too, as to um why I felt like, all right, maybe this guy isn't that bad, even though he just shot someone in the face. It's like, all right, well, fuck, man, he's not. You talked about how we see him get thrown into the dumps. Remember, he gets thrown into the trash.
Mm, yeah.
I think that was episode 3 or of season 2. I don't remember, but he gets thrown into the trash or whatever,
It's early
and
on, yeah.
yeah, and it's kind of like um, it's kind of like, damn, all right, he's not this juggernaut, this juggernaut of a force. Because here's the deal: if you have this juggernaut of a force, the whole first, second, third, he's untouchable and stuff. Then I think naturally the viewers, fans are gonna feel like, all right, hey, fuck this guy. I want to see him. I can't wait till he gets taken down. But they put this soft touch. Corinne going
Mm.
out. You know what I mean? Him getting thrown around. I don't know about you, man, but when he got thrown into the trash, it was kind of like, shit, man. That hurt my feelings. Like, damn, what? How you gonna do
Definitely
that to me?
because they spend the whole first season just bigging him up into this, building him up for you into something before they like the beginning of season 2, they just smash him down into a
Hmm.
into a nobody, picking himself out of the dumpster. Which has like such an impact, like because you've attached yourself to him emotionally. I think
Yeah, it's
throughout season
almost
1.
yeah, it's almost metaphoric or poetic. I don't know how you went. I won't get that deep into it, but yeah, my man got thrown into the trash like some trash. So,
Mm,
you know, um, but yeah, man. Again, the whole season 2 was Vic pretty much, I think, picking up the pieces, which
mm.
probably led him to say, hey, well, yeah, we'll stick with season 2, but probably led to other things though. As far as, hey, what can I do to put this back together? And as you know, later on, he came up with other things and stuff. But um, I mean, that's just
It,
a random opinion. Yeah.
no, I was just saying. I'm noticed looking over your shoulder there that you got the civilian auditor, which is she plays a large part throughout season 2. That people forget, like the sinister side to her character, which is she's actually there to sabotage Acevedo and his political ambitions. But
Yeah.
also not only that, but the lengths that she goes to. She oversees because we have the return of Gilroy also in season 2, and Gilroy uh, works to entrap Vic into assisting him to escape from the country, which he does to some degree. He doesn't fully. Well, he does eventually, but um, he her job. She's actually working there in the police station, consulting with people. And the guys actually figure they've got a towel on them, don't they? I think
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah. I vaguely, uh, yeah, because the auditor, so pretty much, but the auditor was there though for the barn, right? She was there. So, um, yeah, because I think she told Acevedo she was there for a whole nother, she was pretty much a mole. She was a mole, right?
Because he Acevedo actually confronts her. He says, "You're not after." Yeah, I think he says, "You're not after Vic. You're after me," like or something like that.
Oh, yeah. You're right. Yeah, you're right. He starts snapping on her. Yeah, Acevedo
Mm,
does. Okay. Yeah. You're right. Um, yeah, that's a good point. Um, yeah, yeah, I don't know, man. I feel, I pretty much feel that, and I don't know if Vic came across. I'm trying to recall if Vic had came across the auditor, um, if the auditor was, focused on Vic at any point.
She does. I remember Vic actually confronts her about the towel she's had on him, doesn't it? Doesn't he? Because this is, I think Tavon actually comes in. Uh, he comes in later in season 2. She's still there because I actually Tavon. He doesn't clock on to what's going on quite away, and he's like, why is someone from within the department? They're just trying to figure it out who's tailing them, and he says,
Oh, it was
"Oh,
three, wasn't it? I think it was season three. I think because
yeah,
yeah, because she talks to him, and then he basically says, "I'm not gonna be a lap dog. Go find someone else." That I don't know, because yeah, you're right, because she comes up to him and says, "What did you get? What'd you get on Vic?" And he was like, pretty much, kiss my,
yeah,
I ain't got nothing to
yeah,
say, you know.
yeah,
So, yeah, man, she was a little rat herself, man,
mm,
you know. But but yeah, I would definitely say season two was probably the more, unless you could recall, was the more human that we got to see Vic, or more
yeah."
maybe weak side, the vulnerable. Maybe there we go, vulnerable. You got to see
Definitely
it more.
vulnerable because also I remember there's a certain he does get, I don't know if he gets mortally wounded at one point. Do you remember that episode?
Yeah, he got shot.
He gets shot and he has to be rushed into surgery, but he also he meets up with his partner from before, Joe Clark.
Oh yeah, Joe
Yeah,
Clark,
he's
man.
played by
Rest in
Carl
peace.
Weathers.
Yes,
Yeah, no,
rest in
the
peace.
late Carl Weathers.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, rest in peace, man. Um, yeah, you're right. Yeah, he met up with him after he got shot, right?
uh, no, I think he's going
Oh,
about with
no, it
him
was before. It was
before.
because then um yeah, because then that's when Joe goes out to go get revenge, and the strike team
Mm,
ends up. Yeah, okay.
yeah,
Um
but
yeah, but what we
I was just going to say, I kind of felt that Vic looks at Joe like he's kind of he looks at him kind of fearing what his potential future could be, you know, because he sees,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Well, I think they wanted to make that as obvious as they could, that obviously was, he was looking at what could possibly be him, in the near future,
definitely,
and I think it was going back to what he had did to, and that's the other thing, what he had did to Aceveda. I mean, Armadillo, to Armadillo.
mm,
You remember, because I think he said something to Joe along the lines of, have you ever crossed the line, or you felt like you crossed the line? And
mm,
again, this is all part of that vulnerability of season two. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, yeah, because Joe's reply is, well, of course of course I have. Like, I think he says, if you don't, if you he goes going too far, I get you fired. Not going far enough, get you killed.
Get you
And I
killed.
thought
Yeah.
that's a good point, because like, we all, it's easy to rag on the police, like, but it's true enough. Like, I remember me with our early conversations, I was telling you, like, I've seen police, like, I helped the police out one time, a long time. I used to work as a bouncer, like, and the police
No.
got
Yeah.
off the floor and started kicking the guys themselves, and they're like, I
Yeah.
thought, I felt to myself then, I thought, oh damn, like I've just helped the police beat the shit out of
Yeah.
someone. But
Yeah.
I
Hey,
kind of,
I'm an
but I thought,
accomplice.
yeah, yeah. But I thought, but they're only human, and I can understand, like, when you're a guy and you lose a bit of face, because some,
Oh yeah.
they're trying to gain it back. I could empathise with their situation.
Yeah. I've seen it before too. I've seen it's crazy, man. I can see the reflection of the shield bigger than what I can on my screen. It's like didn't even notice it. But I've seen it, because I do security as well, like even right now. But before doing loss prevention and stuff, I've seen him chase guys down. And shit, I was in my lunch across the street eating in my car, and I look up and they must have chased the guy from Best Buy. I don't know if you guys have a Best Buy, but they chased
Mm,
him across the street into the parking lot I was in. And I don't know if he tripped and fell, but they started like stomping him out and then grabbed him by his shirt and took him back over there. And it's like, you know at the time it looked bad, and it still looks bad. I'm not justifying it, but like you said though, it's easy, especially for us men, it's easy to try to to remain civilized in those situations, especially if that's your job. If your job is to apprehend someone and
mm.
protect and all that stuff, you know, um, so yeah, anyway, man, I forgot where the hell I was even going with that. But yeah, so imagine just with a badge, man. I can only imagine with a badge. And again, um, we just shit. I always said this, man. You know what? You know what? No, I'll stick with it. Yeah, I always said this. If Vic went to prison, um, I don't think Vic would be as in danger as we think. I think Vic would do the same exact thing.
No, no, not at all.
Huh?
Well, his natural instincts, I think, he would get him by in
He would get
prison,
him
wouldn't they?
by.
Like he'd
But
survive it.
yeah,
Mm,
there's no way I could see. I mean, in that shield environment, and of course not real life, but in that environment, there's no way I could see him, you know, falling into protective custody, wimping. It's just I could see him using those same tactics, being, his character, and that kind of shows you this dude was not as good. His guy really was. I think Aceveda called him Al Capone with a badge,
mm.
and I
Yeah, and
get that
also,
now.
yeah, I mean, while we were on season two, like, and you're saying about like the more vulnerable side of Vic, like we've got to mention obviously Armadillo because he plays a massive part. Like when when he goes after Armadillo and he burns his face, right? I don't think there's anyone who could not sympathise with Vic's actions and say, yeah, I'm feeling, I watched it and I felt like, yeah, I could do that myself, because he's just after he's raped that little girl.
Oh,
I don't think Vic does it with
yeah,
that motivation.
but you're right. But no, but you're right though. See, and that's what I'm saying though. That's what's so interesting about this, man. Like, yeah, I'm anti-Vic now, man. But it took, I mean, it's hindsight, bro. Because when he was burning Armadillo, I'm like, yeah, man. Like, don't take his face off the grill.
Go
Like,
for
right,
it.
yeah, go for that shit, man. And he killed he raped that girl, and he killed he burned he killed Tio. You know what I'm saying? So um
It,
killed Tio. He raped the girl, tattooed her face. Like, yeah, bro. Yeah,
mm,
do more. But so it's like stuff like that. We forget all about. Once again, we forget about Terry. Terry who?
yeah, yeah. Well, I suppose like say, you want someone who gives you the justice like that against someone like Armadillo, but unfortunately, maybe you got to accept a little of that with it, or expect that that's going to come with it. Someone, is there going to be a kind of animal that is going to fight for their territory, you know, against
Yeah,
with those tactics.
yeah. It's almost like picking your poison in a sense.
Mm.
As far as just um all the stuff he does, picking like, okay, well, I didn't like he did that. Um I can't wait till we get to season 3, man. But you know, it, man, if you could recall it too, but I'm trying to just think of just times where we kind of were uncomfortable with something Vic did or that he was doing. It was like, geez, man, wasn't there another direction that could have gone in? Which shoot, man. Hey, spoiler alert again, y'all. If whatever. But remember when he stuck the gun in the hooker's mouth?
Yeah, yes,
I
oh, I
forget.
do remember. Yeah,
It was that. I don't think that was season 2 though.
no, that's later on.
Um, it
Might
is
be
later
season
on.
four. I'm not sure. Yeah,
Yeah, I jumped ahead on that one, but Fuck, man. Whatever the case, though, we see him do a whole bunch of stuff that, most of the stuff we kind of find a reason to prove it. Like, okay, cool. He needed to get him out of this jam, you know. Um, and then, like I said, when we see him, like, damn, he didn't have to. It was, you know what? It was so. I'll give you an example. So going back to, I know we're talking about season 2, but going back to season 1, um, I think it was episode 1 where he had Rondell killed.
Mm.
It was just like, damn. Was that? I don't know if that was. No, I think it was like episode 2, maybe episode 3 of season 1. But do you remember that though? He had Rondell killed.
Yeah, yeah. He basically says to Tio, you can move in, let the street take care of it. I think he says about
Yeah,
Rondell.
let the street take care of it. And then they show Rondell laid out, and it was just like, damn, Mackie, like, I don't know about that one, man. you know.
I think that's like I've said before, it's that unacceptable, not unacceptable, but it's that side of leadership we don't like looking at. That if you're in a position of power, like because Acevedo finds that out later that he has, you might have to have someone killed if you're in like the higher authority you are. Like because later on he basically puts a hit out on Juan Lozano, doesn't he? Later on, gets Antoine.
Oh yeah,
If you
yeah, yeah,
remember
yeah, yeah,
rightly,
yeah.
you know.
You talking about Acevedo?
Acevedo, yeah. He
Yeah, yeah,
says
right, yeah,
he gets Antoine
yeah,
to get him done, but
right.
like Acevedo evolves through season 2 also because he basically he learns as well through his alliance with Vic that he does have to turn a blind eye, like whereas the evolution going from season 1 where he's out to take him down to season 2 where he's learning. Oh, hang on a minute, especially because of Armadillo is humiliating. He humiliates Vic, but it's looking bad on Acevedo because Acevedo, they're saying like, well, who's this captain that's commanding this force that's got to be getting a control on this shit, and he basically says, take him out. He gives him permission to do whatever the hell he wants, basically to crack down and stamp out the drugs.
Yeah, no, yeah, right. Um, yeah, and I don't know if we touched on this, for the opening of the show, but pretty much the barn, man, like how everything in the barn is pretty much corrupted, or not. No, I'm sorry. Anything that steps foot into the barn becomes corrupted. I know there's a more um, better terminology for that, but um, we just watched the corruption, man, and I don't know. I don't know if Acevedo was directly. I wouldn't call him innocent when he first came into it. But like we mentioned before, there was a lot of character. We see Julian get, Julian kind of transition
Mm.
in both ways.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Well, like you said it yourself, like the barn is like a corrupting force on its own.
like a corrupted
Like
force, yes. It's
yeah.
like a poltergeist. It's like a haunted house, man. You step in there, you get possessed or something, man. It's crazy.
Mm.
You know,
Yeah, and
go out there
everyone contaminates everyone in there slowly but surely.
slowly. Yeah. I was going to ask you here. And you probably already answered. I forgot, but going back to Vic in this whole season 2, did you feel like that was? So yeah, I think you did. You felt that was more of his vulnerable, one of the more, more of the weaker of him out of the seasons, out of the 7 seasons.
Yeah, I do because I think like in season 1, he's kind of got it all. Uh, he's still got his family. He's got this new
Yeah.
position of authority, but he kind of sacrifice in season 1. He seems to sacrifice the family life and the happy life and home life for power. But by the end of season 2, he he seems to have moved over from he seems to have accepted that he's not going back. I think because by the end of season 2, Corinne's moved back into the family home. He's moved out, and
He
he's
moved out,
accepted. It
right?
seems that he's not going back to her. He's not going back to that life. He's chosen power, I think. by the end of season 2.
Yeah, I want to say, was that when Corinne she came to the hotel to work it out, and yeah, that was in season 2. She came to the hotel to work it out, and he was with that with the lady, with his lady friend.
Yeah, she just sees like a person's shoes on the side, and she's like, she comes, I think, to because he serves her some papers, some court papers on the advice of that guy, the PI, and which she does, and she's like upset by it, so she comes to work things out and talk it out, and then when she gets there, she sees the uh, the ladies' things on
Yeah,
the side. She's like, that's
yeah,
it,
that was
I've made my mind up.
season 2, right?
Yeah, that's season 2. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I think that's just important to point out because, like you said, he chose power, and I think he kind of, we kind of see that choice kind of become more solidified. When pretty much Korean comes and it's like, all right, damn, Korean was going to try to work it out, but we did. There was no scene previously where we saw, we saw him with whoever that lady was. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Like it was just kind of a suggestion. Bam. The viewers see the clothes, we see shoes. You know,
Mm.
Vic has kind of chosen this direction. He's, even when his wife, comes to work things out, even though this guy's in the wrong, she comes to work things out.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? It's still his natural nature, man. Um, his natural nature of who he is still kind of shows. You know what I'm saying? Like, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah,
she
he's in the wrong. He's the one in the wrong, yet she's the one coming to try and resolve it.
trying to resolve it, and he's still in the wrong. Like he's still like in that moment in the wrong. You know what I mean? So it's
Mm.
um, like you said, he chose power, and I think once he had in his head, all right, you know what, this is what it's going to be. I
Mm.
moved them into this house. Now I've got to go and do what I have to do, and
Mm.
part of that is getting
And
them
that's
seen.
but that's him throughout, isn't he? Like he's always getting second chances, isn't he? Like she's come there
Yeah,
to try and give it another chance, and he's still like he's always just throughout, like
yeah,
you know.
and and hey, man, I challenge anyone out there, man. This is an open debate, man. If you guys feel differently about
Yeah.
this about why Vic is such a good guy, man, and because I know people still, people love the Shield, people love Mackie, and um, yeah, there's just so much there, man. It's interesting. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting from a psychological standpoint, the whole reverse values.
Mm. Yeah, no, that's right. It's and it opens the yeah, and it makes good commentary on the social issues. I mean, that were there. They're there back then, and they're still there now. Like I've mentioned before. I mean, we've both mentioned before, like like the Shield over time from seasons 1 to 7, it goes like he makes statements about like Acevedo comes in the beginning, and he's kind of like they've got this Latino captain to try and stir that crowd, and then he serves that agenda while he's there, and then they get in ruling, so they're like, oh, they get a woman so we can play the feminist card, and then she pisses everyone off. She serves, she leaves it scorched earth, and then by the end they're bringing in Claudette. So oh yeah, we'll get a black woman to try and please that crowd
Yeah,
and tick the feminist box as well. You know.
yeah, 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 yeah. They're like they're trying every move. I was gonna grab this controller real quick too, man. Get this going. Uh, yeah, my bad. But no, that's an excellent point. And I think it speaks volumes about man, I guess it speaks volumes to just maybe it's not just the bar, man. It's the forces outside of the
Mm.
um or maybe that's just police, that's just policies, man. That's just how the game goes. But
Mm. Uh,
um
I think season two's got one of the best conclusions. One of my favourite conclusions. I don't know anyone else, but like on that closing episode, because it's where we get the money train, which we haven't touched on yet. The money train. It ends on the money train. They take down the money train, and Acevedo. I wanted to talk also about Acevedo. The way he evolves through season two, like he goes from being like just not being such an empty suit to being like he's learning how to box clever, like because the chief kind of tries to push him around, and he uses it, the civilian order. Do you remember the tactic that he uses? He she does she reports on the strike team, and that they're bad to the chief. He's told by the chief he's got to fire how many officers. He goes to the newspapers, turns the news and says, "I've got to. I'll fire the whole strike team and myself, because it's my responsibility." Like he offers himself up. He turns it. He makes a publicity stunt out of it, basically.
Acevedo does, right?
Yeah, yeah. He learns to play it smart, and he goes to the papers with it.
Yeah, yeah. My bad.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, like, a good comparison, like modern culture is like, like you got this kind of CC thing people do where people send emails to each other in workplace and they're always copying in like a manager or something. And they're like, I told this guy, look, could you please do this, whatever. It's the third time I've asked you. And they copy in like, like, and they're basically trying to make you look a total arsehole because they're like, look at this guy. I've got to ask him so many times. What a dick, And they're trying to make a spectacle of it. They can't, rather than just walking up to you and saying, "Oh, do that, please." I've asked you.
Yeah. No, definitely. Yeah, there was definitely some I don't know, crafty. Oh, I don't want to say crafty, but well, it was crafty, but like you said, it was a publicity stunt. Nice little publicity stunt. Let me see. I think, man, yeah. Was there anything else that you noticed or that you wanted to add to about that? So far as Vic's vulnerability, in season two.
Well,
that maybe we didn't see, man.
No, I mean, because by the end of season two, I don't know, he seems to have like he's moved away from the family. Like he seems because he seems to put them in a place where like he gets them back in the family home, and he seems he can manage them there, and he's happy with that. But no, I mean, I think we do see plenty of vulnerable sides to him because like I feel like Armadillo. When he getting Armadillo killed, Armadillo probably has him the closest to getting caught anyone does.
Yeah, 100%.
Armadillo's death.
100. Hey, you know what? And I want to say out of maybe all the seasons too. I could be wrong, but I know it came close with the money train and stuff. But season two with Armadillo, I think that was as close as we saw it. Just for the fact that there was nowhere to go at that point. Vic couldn't even kill him. It would have looked too obvious. So I think that was as close as we saw him. You're right. Seeing him getting caught. And again, like back then, I'm like, man, that can't happen, man. Like, kill Armadillo. Like, do whatever you got to do to keep this man out of prison. He doesn't deserve this. Big Mackie doesn't deserve this.
Well, no, even at that point, well, no, I mean, if you had to save one or the other, as much as we both agree, we don't particularly like Vic, but you'd put Armadillo first to get shot or killed, wouldn't you?
100%. Yes, 100%.
You'd be volunteering him for it.
Yeah. Yeah, man, and we'll get into season 5. That was season 5. I was gonna bring up something else too, but there's plenty of other references, man. As far as rooting for him, rooting for Vic, and why we're doing it. Whether, like I said, whether it's watching him get a friend out of a jam or him trying to cover for someone else that we like, another character that we like, or um, whatever the case may be. Um,
Mm.
but yeah, I think season two might have been a huge part of that. That of as far as us rooting for him, seeing him vulnerable was like, all right, fuck,
Mm.
I hope he finds a way.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, I suppose. But I think
um,
it's also the end of season two is season two. By the end is where Julian gets his blanket party, as I remember.
yeah, he does. Yeah, he gets beat up. He gets beat up, and then I think he gets the revenge back in that same season. He breaks the guy's arm or something.
No, that's later on. That's because it's the end of season two, as I remember. Season two closes with the money train and Julian.
Oh,
Uh,
getting beat up, getting beat up.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's how it closed out. Yeah, yeah, man. Good call, man. Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. So that hey, I mean, shoot, we could start it on the probably won't have too much more time. Yeah, I gotta do quick some errands and stuff. But I
yeah,
was gonna say though, as far as season three though, too, man, we could start kind of grazing, I guess, the surface of that. Um, with season three, and and it's pretty much Vic back. Hey, he's back at it again. I believe. He's got. Um,
so
yeah, I
season
believe he.
three, like touching. Yeah, I was just going to say, touching on it quickly. It does see him quite vulnerable again in another way, though. Like not just vulnerable, but quite on the offensive, as I recall. Because I think I was discussing that the other day. Like he it's actually Shane kind of moving away from the teams. Shane starts settling down, and which
Yeah,
kind of sends Vic into quite a aggressive, defensive. He's struggling all the more to.
yeah. Well, and I think that was one of the times, man, that again, it's the emotional roller coaster with this guy. Um, the whole thing, with Tavon and him making Lim basically convince Tavon that, that he beat Mara and that
Mm,
he because yeah, I don't even think I was that upset about Lim. I was upset at Lim too, disappointed with that aspect
mm,
of it, but it was even the order came from Vic, so I was disappointed in that, and it was kind of a reminder of who this guy really is again, but then something else happens and we blow that off like, all right, now, back to Team Vic,
mm.
you know what I
Yeah,
mean? So, and it's like, damn, man, Tavon could have killed himself, man. He could have like whatever, man. He could
yeah,
have
yeah.
heard
No, they're
that.
they're even talking about him dying potentially. They're saying, "Oh shit, if he dies, he goes to an ME. They're going to notice there's two head injuries, and then we're really fucked." Do you remember?
Yeah, yeah, no, 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 no. I don't actually. I don't.
Because he gets cracked on the head with the iron, and then he
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
crashes his van. And then like they're talking, they're like, "Oh shit, if he dies,
Oh, yeah,
they're going to see that there's two
yeah.
head injuries, two separate."
Well, no, I was just talking about the guilt factor. Yeah, after Lim told him that he basically that there was that he went after
Mm.
Mara and the baby, that there was damage to the baby. He could have jumped off a bridge or some shit.
Yeah,
I don't know, but
yeah, that was low because he leaves him crying to himself like for feeling what an arsehole he is. And he's like because he even argues, didn't he? They tell him that first, and he's like, "I'd never do that. I know I'd never do that." And then they're like, "I know he'll accept that version of events from Lem because he likes Lem."
and to be precise with it, um, Tavon says that I hurt the baby. Did I hurt the baby? And I think Lim says, nah, the baby's good. And then Vic says, but she did have some bleeding and hemorrhaging or something.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's just like fuck, man. Like,
Mm.
yo,
Really turning the screw like for all it's worth.
Yeah, but and again, it's just that's who he is, but that's who we refuse. Just like many people in the barn, just like Monica, the lawyer, just like what's his name that joined the team? I want Hyatt. Just like Hyatt. He
Mm.
was. You know, there's just like them. We as well. We're kind of like questioning it. We do the whole. You know what I mean? It's like
Mm.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
We don't want to acknowledge it at the same time.
We
Yeah.
see it, and we're like, oh, okay, there he is doing that shit. But like, oh, wait a minute, he did it because of this, you
Mm.
know. And I think
So now it's
Hyatt
all okay.
actually, yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, right. So, man, it's yeah, I keep saying it, but it's definitely interesting. It's interesting. Just kind of dissecting that, man. How this one guy who is obviously bad, and again, we continue to forget about Terry,
Mm.
which makes
Yeah,
it
no,
a
absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely.
which in a sense kind of justifies, or we justify. I mean, because I think the I think the only time that we are reminded of Terry is when I think Vic had like a flashback. I think he was like working out or something, right? Or he was like in the gym and he
Yeah.
was yeah, I don't know if that was season one or season two, but he had a flashback of him shooting Terry. But outside of that, it's like, you know, it, yeah, it never pops up again.
No.
You know,
Yeah.
yeah, and and that's the brilliance too, man. In like in film and television, man, because in film, film would have had you would have had more flashbacks, or you would have had him. I saw this. I'm copying this because I saw this on actually a Netflix series. It was a difference between movies and television shows, and Vic would have been having flashbacks, 3, 4, 5 flashbacks if that were a movie. But because it's a television show, we just get to we kind of get the long end of it in a sense. You know what I mean? Like we don't see the flashbacks, but we see it in like his behavior, or we see him how he projects it, on in
Mm.
different episodes. It's a more in-depth look. You know what I'm saying?
Mm. It works its way into
Oh man.
becoming ongoing anxieties or uptightness in other ways, you know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
longer
yeah.
term.
And again, yeah, and whereas again, a movie would have covered that 3 times. He wakes up, to a nightmare, about what I'm saying. So,
Mm.
I don't know what my point was for bringing that up, man. I thought I had the point with that one, but shit,
No, no, you're saying like how he
I
gets
thought there
better
was a
quickly.
parallel there. Yeah, 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 yeah. Um, but well, I guess it does, yeah, because again, we don't see. We're very, very seldom are we reminded of Terry.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, outside of, I mean, there's, yeah, I mean, well, I suppose that's
This
why. Yeah, go on, sorry.
I was gonna say, of course, there's conversations. They bring up his name. They may bring up his name, but as far as just a physical reminder or looking at
Mm.
his mom or his kids, or you know what I mean? Like,
No,
there's
that's what I
nothing.
did think was good in season two as well, that they had that flashback episode. I know a lot of people didn't like it, but I thought it was good because I think it fleshed out his character a bit more,
Who
and
the co? You
he
mean the
shows.
co-pilot?
Yeah, I like that episode because I felt, it give us a bit more. He's not just like an extra, glorified extra in the first episode. He gives him a bit more character. Like he comes to the barn and he's talking to Acevedo. Oh, how's it going? How's whoever? They're having a
Yeah,
conversation because they're meant to be friends from before. And then,
yeah, 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 yeah. You know what? Hey, now that you mention it, I wasn't a fan of the co-pilot either. I wasn't huge on the co-pilot either, man. And the reason why is because so much shit was happening. It was like, damn, all right, we want to see what's going to happen next. Not what's happened before, you know?
yeah,
Like, what are y'all doing? Um, but yeah, but you're right, though. Definitely a lot of information that we needed. Um, Whew, I gotta watch the co-pilot again, man. I'm trying to recall, you know, but yeah, it definitely though it did a good job though of just showing kind of the beginning and how. Well, most importantly from that co-pilot, we got to see. We got to see. I don't know if you picked up on. We got to see though how
Go on.
it was always Shane and Vic. It was Shane and Vic from the beginning.
And
You know
also,
that.
like I was saying earlier about second chances, because on it, Shane and Vic, like when Vic's asking about leading the new team to Gilroy, Gilroy's like, I can't get you on there. He goes, yeah, he goes, I need me and Shane. He goes, what, Shane? Shane's another like, bad cop. Like, I can't have
Yeah,
both of you on there.
that was in the
You know,
co-pilot, right?
yeah, it shows you like Vic's forever just pushing it and asking for another chance, another chance, another chance. You know,
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
always
yeah,
been,
yeah.
it shows you he's always been doing that.
Yeah, and it's a trip to. So the co-pilot. Yeah, the co-pilot is before Gilroy. Oh no, the co-pilot is after Gilroy, right?
Yeah, it's after Gilroy's left,
Yeah,
but it's
yeah. So
it brings him back briefly to before.
yeah, so it's
Yeah,
just like you said. It's not just a reminder of the second chance, but it's like a reminder, like, damn, all right. Gilroy was kind of how do I want to articulate this? Um, there was actually a point where Gilroy was on top of his shit and he was weary of Vic and didn't want to, it's just the irony. I think it was ironic. There we go. It was real ironic that, what I'm saying, that the irony, what I'm saying, like, Gilroy is
mm.
over here, he's questioning Vic, what I'm saying, but then we saw before that, Vic was um fuck man. How you want to sum that up, man? You can jump in there on that. But
So
do you
he's
see what I'm trying to
pushing
say
his
though?
luck. He's pushing his luck, like he's always pushing his luck, ain't he? You know,
No,
he's
no, I wouldn't say pushing his luck, but it was just like I said, we got because we didn't really have a background on Gilroy. We didn't have a
no,
background on
no, that's true.
yeah, we didn't have the background on Gilroy. We didn't have a background on the strike team. Most importantly though, Gilroy, Gilroy just looked like someone who he was kind of right. He knew what Vic was doing, but he
Mm.
was just higher up on Vic. So he was, you know what I mean? But he knew what Vic was doing. He was okay. You know, we didn't know that there was a point where he was not okay. As far as like he was weary of bringing him around. He didn't trust him. He didn't, you know what I mean? Just like he said Shane is another. That's another one with a risky jacket. Why the hell do I want to give y'all a team? And you know what I mean? So, and just imagine if he would have said no, then
Yeah, well, it's because it shows you it's self fulfilling because he says, "Well, if I give it to you, I want results. I want them, and I need them quick. Otherwise, we're both out of a job." Doesn't he?
yo, yeah,
Because they
yeah.
set up. He leaves and he gets. That's what in that episode he gets Connie to set up a dealer planting drugs, and
Who the
she
wait?
gets
What happened?
raped. Vic
Who?
gets Connie to Vic. He gets Connie to plant
Oh yeah, yeah,
drugs,
yeah, yeah. Right, right, right,
and she
right, right,
gets
right.
raped
She ends up getting
in the
raped.
middle of it.
Yeah, she gets raped. And then well, going back to what you just said though about Gilroy needing to get those numbers up and stuff.
Mm.
Or he said, we can do the strike team as long as you produce numbers. Um, you remember too, I think season one though, wasn't he? He monopolized. I think he was monopolizing the area. So he was. I think he was pushing crime out to. I think he was pushing crime out to other districts or something like that. But the murder rate was rising. Do you remember that, or do I
Is
have
that
that wrong?
is that in season one?
I thought it was season one because Vic kind of oh, was that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was him. He was monopolizing something. Yeah, because it was something with him and a realtor, I thought. Oh gosh, man, I hope I'm not talking about another movie or a show. Um,
Yeah. Mm. No, I can't.
no, so Gilroy, he was never like monopolizing the area.
No. They were talking about his scam at the end of number one. He's trying to boost the price. Yeah, he's getting Vic. He's sending Vic into clean. Like he's manipulating the statistics, isn't he?
Yeah,
Gilroy,
right.
because
Yeah,
he's banging this realtor, and he boosts the crime up to drop the price, and then they buy it up,
You
and
bought
they
out, yeah,
drop it. Yeah, that was the
that's what it
scam.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah, the little scheme.
Which leads
So
to the
yeah,
riots they have at the end of season 1. Yeah.
yeah, man. So the dude's always been a piece of shit, you know.
Mm.
But even him though, he was weird. He knew who Vic was and Shane, and um, but then again, I think that was more of, as I keep bringing that up, I think that was more. I think that was more of him just trying to watch his own ass. If he knew for sure that, hey, he could bring him on and it won't come back to him, he could. Like, hey, sure, hey, you guys just clean up after yourself. But he was like, hell no, you guys are toxic. You
Mm.
know. So,
Yeah.
um, but oh yeah, my thing is tilting. But yeah, man. So that, and we're not gonna. Well, I guess we could. So we could say the money train. I guess for the next segment, because I think that in itself, um, I think that was another one of those things where we were really his team Vic again. Like, damn, all right, man. He's got to get
Yeah,
the money
and
for
it's
it.
for his kids, and it sows the seed for their eventual destruction as well, doesn't it? Money train. Mm.
Would you call that the eventual destruction?
They're at the team's eventual destruction. The money train is really what. Well, I mean, you could argue that killing Terry sowed the seed, but I don't know. It's what turns Lem. It turns things for Lem, doesn't it? I mean, everyone's got a turning point where they, things go bad for
Yeah,
them.
yeah, things do go bad. Yeah, and that's another thing we could dive into at some point. Um, what that was, because with the money, you can look at it at Terry. You can look at it as Terry. You can look at it as the money train. You can look at it as um, Shane hooking up with Antoine, um,
Mm,
and getting caught up with the dope. Um, you can look at it as Shane killing Lim,
mm,
but yeah, maybe it does just go back to one thing, man. And him can
mm,
Terry. He doesn't kill, or if he would have did that by himself. If Vic would have carried that out by himself, in killing
mm,
Terry, even that alone, we might have seen a different outcome. Um, because now we don't have a Shane who is, I don't want to get too sidetracked if but um, I think those are interesting things though to point out. Where did it all go to shit?
mm. It- well, I'd say is, like they've all, like I say, every, everyone's got their own individual place where it turns for them. I think.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, and I think it's probably subjectable. It's definitely subjectable. Um, you know, but I know for me though, I would say, shoot, man, I would say easily. I don't know, man. I was gonna say him shooting Terry, but I think when obviously Shane dropped the grenade
Yeah, that's the
because
turning point for Train.
yeah, because you can go do the whole Vic created the monster bullshit, and some of that may be true, but there was a huge difference. We all know there was a huge difference between Terry and Lim. There was a huge difference, and again, maybe that's the corruption. That's part of me being a part of that corruption. Like, what I'm saying, like me
Mm,
justifying and picking apart. Like, hey, it's cool for you to kill this cop, but don't, man, for him to kill that cop, nah. You know what I mean? It sounds crazy. No, he shouldn't be killing no one. Fuck.
No,
Shit.
and that's like, and that's for who you excuse, and you could ask yourself, why you're excusing one person and not another. One second, man. I'm getting some feedback.
Okay.
Testing, testing.
Yeah, you loud and clear.
Yeah, and then also it's where season two Ronnie steps up as well. I just want to add that he becomes being like a proper character.
You're breaking up just a little bit. I don't know if that's my shoot. Yeah, I got full bar. Say that again.
I was just saying about Ronnie's character. Yeah. No, I don't know why, but I'm getting coming over.
Yeah, I'm not getting feedback. It's just you're breaking up. You're breaking up a little bit. Can you hear me?
Yeah, no, I've turned the mic off. Yeah, that might be better. I've got just.
Oh, you're talking
I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's just that cool.
No, you good. You good. I was gonna get out here too, man, and I make some runs. Well, not only that too. You know, I want to go over the other breakdowns too. You know, as well. Well, for season 3, I mean.
Yeah. No, I'll send you my breakdown of season 3. Send me back.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And then I want to start getting these folks up in here too. You know, getting the the feedback, the live feedback. Live feedback for for the people out there that want to tune in and give their opinion as well on why you think Nick is the angel.
Looking forward to hearing from people when they finally start coming in.
Yeah, so we'll find it out, but yeah, definitely, man. In conclusion, we'll end it with how we kind of started it, man. Going back to the quote by George Orwell's, I believe, right? George Orwell. Orwell, yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah, George Orwell. If you want to keep a secret, you must also hide it from yourself. You must know all the while that it is here, but until it is needed, you must never let it emerge until your consciousness in any shape that can be given a name. And I think that should just, for viewers out there too, just in regards to the Shield, I think that should be kind of plugged into the back of the mind there, because it speaks volumes. Again, that was brilliant, man. You pulling that up. So definitely, man. We'll do part 2 of season 3. So we can break down that money train and all the other stuff.
Yeah, I look forward to that.
Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely. So yeah, we'll be back, man. Tune in, y'all.
Yeah. Looking forward to it. Let's see all that.
Yeah. Like,
all right. Peace out.
All right, peace out. Yeah.